Well, there it is, almost done. A DIY homemade dirt bike front tire chock system for my 2023 Honda Ridgeline. So the objective here was to add a center tie down that would be in the middle of the truck and allow tie down equally for two bikes, one from the truck tie down on each side, and then the middle of my chock system. What I did was I took eye bolts and used those to attach to the bottom tie downs, a retaining 2x6 on top of a 4x6 for structural integrity. And then Home Depot, I believe the Husky brand, had this anchor point, pad eye tie down loop, whatever, anchor point that I secured using 3/8 by 5.5 hex bolts all the way through, and I chambered out. I'll show on the other side what I did there to secure those all the way through the assembly. And I'm in the process of adding some tightening molding to narrow the tire grooves, if you will, so that they'll be almost snug for the front tires of my Surron Ultra, and Matthew's Surron Light BX. And then after that's done, I'm going to disassemble the whole thing, spray paint it black, come back, and not disassemble the whole thing, but take off the pad eye and the metal, and then in the end I'm going to add some steel angle brackets to the upright chock members. Anyway, just wanted to document this just in case I happen to throw this on YouTube at some point. Okay, I just added a little bit of molding. I used window door jamb stop, some material that was 3/8 by 1.25 for the right side of the chocks where Matthew's Light BX is going to go, because the width of the front tire is about 2 7/8, maybe 3 inches. My spacing on my 2x4s is 4 inches, and then I narrowed it a little bit there with that molding for him. And then on mine, I used material that was 1/4 by 1 1/4 to narrow mine, because my front tire's about 1/4 inch more in width than Matthew's is. Anyway, this is just to tighten up the chocks a bit on the front end, and then if we ever go to larger bikes or front tires or whatever, I can always take that molding off. Honestly, this whole contraption is more of a prototype to see if we like using a step ramp and hauling the bikes in the truck as opposed to on a trailer. And then if we really like it, then have this thing reinvented and reassembled by a professional welder out of steel. So anyway, we're ready to take this pad eye off and then spray paint the whole thing. Actually, one more clip on what's on the other side of that tie down loop. Okay, so as mentioned before, I drilled all the way through and recessed the washers, fender washer followed by flat washer followed by lock washer followed by 3/8 hex nut to anchor the tie down loop. And then you can also see I used a strip of molding here on the bottom. I needed to space where the floor of my bed recesses up towards the cab, just so that this thing would sit level. And it works for the most part. It's about 1/16 of an inch off. I may come back with some tape along that molding to stabilize it a little bit more, but not a big deal, all things considered. So that's what it looks like on the bottom. And now we're going to head towards spray painting. All right, I'm getting excited. Got 1 can of spray paint on my tie down and chock assembly DIY. So that's gonna look cool. All right, I'm using satin black spray paint. Back to Home Depot. Okay, made it back from Home Depot. Got a second can of satin black spray paint, got the other side painted. We're just looking for kind of a decent crude job so that the overall finish is black and not framing wood color. So, all right, I think this is turning out pretty well. It's gonna look pretty cool. Got it all painted up and just have to let it dry. And once it's dry, put on a couple of angle brackets, one on either side of the back there, and put the anchor loop back in it, pad eye, whatever you want to call it, bolt it back on, put it in the truck, and give it a test with the new step ramp. Okay, another quick clip showing the underneath side of my chocks and tie down. I ended up using 3/8 by 5.5 hex bolts from Home Depot, and I cut off, used an angle grinder and cut off about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or so. I bored the larger holes with a, I don't know, special flat bit, I forget what it's called, and then I drilled the 3/8 hole after I bored those, and measured to figure out how far they needed to be recessed. But then I didn't want the bolt sticking below the wood to scratch the bed, so I ended up again angle grinding those off, and using 2 stainless steel fender washer 3/8 by 1 1/4 fender washers, 2 flat washers, a lock washer, and then the nut just to build everything up there. I mean, I suppose it's a little bit overkill, but anyway, it's working. It's in wood, so I'm not getting it super tight. The whole thing's overkill. The tie down is rated to hold like 2,000 pounds. There's a few hundred pounds on it. Heck, the bikes combined weigh 300 pounds. But anyway, just a quick look at underneath, and then I added the angle. Yeah, there's the tie down, and then I added the angle brackets for reinforcement on the outside of each chock. So this is the side that goes against the cab, and this is the side where the bikes will go. I did router this to bring it down a little bit. I think the tire's gonna hit this before it hits the top of the bed. I may come back depending on how well it straps the bike strap in. I may chisel that down. I'm kind of trying to even the load between the top rail of the bed and that. Not that it matters that much, but anyway, the hardware's back on. Time to put it back in the truck. Okay, now they're tight. I've got about 2.5 threads or so on the bolt sticking past the nut, so I think that's good. All right, there it is, finished product. Completely done and installed in the truck. Angle brackets tied, connected to the tie downs with eye bolts, assembled and locked with a double nut. Custom chocks to fit my Surron Ultra on the left, Matthews Surron Light BX on the right. This is a little narrower, this is a little wider by about 1/4 inch, not that it matters. Yeah, I think hopefully it's enough and overkill. And we will tie down here, and here, and here, and then snug the back so the bikes stay upright. Now it's time to test the step ramp. All right. We're testing the chock. And it seems to be working. So, very, very cool. Oh, what happened? What happened to my video? All right. It's working. It's working, it's working, it's working. Howdy, Matthew. All right, hello, YouTube. It's been a couple of months since I made my truck shocks or motorcycle shocks to go in the truck, and just wanted to capture loading the Surron Ultra kind of real time here. So down here you can see that I've got an eye bolt secured to the tie down of the truck and a pad eye bolted all the way through the combination of the 2x6 and the 4x6 in the middle. And we just rolled the Ultra up the step ramp, which is really cool, and tied it down like this to the frame using these all husky stuff from Home Depot. Works out pretty well on both sides. And then over here, the tie down is the truck tie down. So this assembly, this arrangement, because I wanted chocks and an easy to get to center tie down, as opposed to having to run the front tie downs, the front straps, crisscross all the way across each side of the truck. And yeah, the one thing I love about the Honda Ridgeline is there's 8 tie downs. You know, there's 8 locations to secure stuff in here, where on the Toyota anyway, I think there's 4, one in each corner. And on the new Toyotas, I don't really love the tie downs that are so almost flush to the bed. These Honda tie downs work out really well. And oh, by the way, in the Toyota, the tie downs were only up and not down on the bed, so this chock contraption would have been, I don't know, nearly impossible, or have to figure out a total different way to do it. Obviously it's made out of wood. Someday I'd like to convert this to an all steel invention, which is already made for some of the other trucks. But the other thing that I like about this wooden arrangement is how I'm able to get the tire flush to the front of the truck but secured, whereas with some of the other bed mount chocks, they set the bike back noticeably, maybe I'm going to guess 8 to 12 inches, which if I was 8 to 12 inches back here, it might still work, but it's going to come back that much further on the tailgate, which is a challenge on these shorter bed trucks. Which brings me to another point. On the Ridgeline, the bed itself is 64 inches, 4 inches longer than the standard Toyota bed, albeit this bed is a little shallower, which does make the tailgate a little shorter. So net maybe from front to rear you gain about 2 inches, is what you pick up in bed length you lose in gate length, if you know what I mean. Anyway, love it, going pretty well. See you later. All right, and here we go. Now both Surron's Light BX and Ultra are loaded. Same way. Just easily up to the handlebars on that one. Down to the other tie down. Convenient. Frame to frame in the middle to prevent sideways motion. On the back with the pad eye that came with the bike, I can just hand tight temper it or pull that out. And then from the frame there on that side, and then the ladder is secured, so everything is not really going anywhere. So anyway, so far so good. Second or third trip out like this. Second, I guess. There we go. Borrego Springs, Ocotillo Wells.